Hi, family. It's Loretta. Good evening. Well, actually, it's AM. I am coming to you. Thank you for coming to me, to my channel. If you've never been here before, welcome. If you have pressed that subscribe button and like button and done all of that, thank you. And now I'll get into the story. I'm going to do a little teaching or telling, let's say, in the Bible. A lot of times we go to church and we listen to the pastor or whomever say, turn to, for example, tonight we'll be turning to Genesis 29:17 through 35. Actually, I'm just giving you that for reference. That's where I'm going to talk about these three people that interest me in the Bible, and I'm thinking maybe they'll interest someone else also. So, when you hear the preacher talking and you're not really sure what he's talking about, I've decided that I'm going to just break a few of these things down in basically layman's terms or from my point, well, not my point of view, no, scratch that. Just make it a little easier to understand, okay? I won't be before you long. Again, my name is Loretta. I'm not any authority on anything, but other than, my things. But I just want to make you or let you know who they're talking about when they're talking about Jacob, Leah, and Rachel. First of all, Jacob is the son of our forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. If you are a Christian, you know those are your forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Abraham is the father of Isaac. Isaac is the father of Jacob. Isaac also had another son, Esau, who was Jacob's twin. That whole story is another story for another time, but we'll get to that one in another video. Now, Jacob did something he shouldn't have done. He stole Esau's birthright, his twin brother. And actually, when they were twins, the one who came out first was the firstborn and would get the birthright. So that person was Esau. And Esau, and even Jacob wanted so badly for him to not be the first one that he had him by his foot when he was born. Jacob was born second, but he was holding on to Esau's foot. But anyway, so as it turns out, then that means that Esau was the firstborn. So when his father was getting ready to pass away, then he would get the birthright. Well, Jacob just wasn't having it, and quiet as it's kept, neither was his mother, Rebecca. So they devised a little plan to go ahead and steal the birthright from Esau. That's another story for another time. We'll get to that one in another video. And so the plan went through, and then Jacob got the birthright. So that meant though he wasn't the firstborn, and this birthright was supposed to go to the firstborn, but whatever, he got it. End of that. Well, his brother Esau wasn't so happy about it. Of course, would you be? So he was in a tizzy. He was fit to be tied. So what he was, I'm sure he was going to kill his brother. And, his father, Isaac, did not want that to happen. So he told Jacob to go to Rebecca, his wife, Isaac's wife, Rebecca, which is Jacob's mother, had a brother named Laban in the land of Haran or something like that. And so they sent him, or made him, get on over there, go over there, hang out a few days until your brother is, not so upset about what you did. So he goes off to go and live with his uncle. Yes, his mother's brother, his uncle. Okay, so that's where we come in at Genesis 29, chapter 17, through Genesis 29 and 17 through 35. Seems like I'm missing something. Genesis 29, 17 through 35. Okay, it's late. That's right. But anyway, so Jacob is traveling and he goes, to the land where his uncle Laban lives. And on his way, he, sees them, some of the farmers or whatever they were called back then out, tending their business. And he stops by and chit chats with them, and they, tell him who they are. He asks if they know Laban, and yeah, of course they do. And so, and asks, is it well with him? Yeah, it's doing well. And so they're waiting there, and Rachel is coming. Rachel is tending her father. Laban has two daughters, Rachel and Leah. So Rachel, one of his daughters, the younger daughter, is tending the sheep. So she's bringing them to where they are gathered at the well so she can water them. Honey, Jacob sees Rachel and falls in love. Isn't that a beautiful thing? So he moved the rock, honey, big strong, because the thing where they feed give the animals water had a big stone in front of it. So he basically moves the stone out of the way so Miss Rachel can bring her daddy's sheep on up there and give them some water. And then he wait a minute. Let me tell you what he said. Hold on. He said, oh my goodness. See, I hit this by accident a second ago. Okay, it says Jacob, the son of Isaac and grandson of Abraham, fled to his uncle Laban's home in Haran to escape his brother Esau's wrath. Okay, said that already. Upon arrival, Jacob met Laban's the daughters. The older is Leah, the younger is Rachel. Remember, I said the youngest, Rachel. Jacob was immediately smitten with Rachel. That's so nice. Oh, I will be so glad when someone's immediately smitten with me. Okay, so he's immediately smitten with her, and he was describing her as beautiful in form and appearance. Really? So beautiful in form, so she was fine. And in appearance, she was fine and pretty. So he just immediately just fell in love. And so he went on up and, actually Rachel ran up there and told her dad that, Jacob was coming, and Laban was excited to see his sister's son, his nephew, and he ran out and hugged him, blah, blah, blah. But Jacob was thinking about Rachel. So, to win Rachel's hand, Jacob agreed to serve Laban for 7 years. So, Laban asked Jacob, what would he do, or would he work for him, serve him, work for him, tend the sheep, camels, chickens, I don't know, cows, the whole nine. Would he do that for 7 years? If he did that for 7 years, he could have Rachel. She could be his wife. And honey, 7 years to me is a long time, because if it wasn't, I would probably have a bachelor's degree, a master's degree, or something. It was just too many years. But, Jacob, honey, Rachel was fine and she was beautiful. So if to be her husband, all I need to do is work for her daddy for 7 years, no problem. Okay, so Jacob does this, and he works there at Laban's house, doing his little 7 years. Okay, so These years seemed like only a few days to him because of his love for her. That's Genesis 29 and 20. Baby, to him, 7 years was like a few days. Do you know how many degrees I could have if 7 years was like a few days? Anyway, and so, because of his love for her, however, now get this, y'all. If you know the story, you already know what I'm about to say. Anyway, however, on the wedding night, oh, excuse me, let me say that again. However, on the wedding night, Laban deceived. Now, this Rachel daddy, he's supposed to be, they didn't ate and everything. So this is the wedding night. He about to give his beautiful, fine daughter to Jacob, this man that has worked 7 years to be her husband. He's going to deliver her to his tent, so they can be married. Okay, so now check this out. However, on the wedding night, Laban deceived Jacob by submitting Leah for Rachel. Now, Leah is his other daughter, the older daughter. I'm going to tell you about something about her in a minute. But anyway, and so by submitting Leah for Rachel, as it was customary to marry off the older daughter first. Excuse me? You gonna wait till the wedding night to tell me that I have to marry the older daughter, the one that I was not signed up for. When I signed up with you 7 years ago, it was to marry your beautiful, fine, younger daughter, Rachel, whom I love. But now, on the wedding night, y'all got me over here eating all this good food. We celebrating, we drinking wine or what have you, getting a little, So then I stumble into my tent to become married to my wife. And I do because it's dark. You couldn't, GE wasn't back then, so it's dark. He don't know, he hadn't been with her before. He didn't know how she felt, or as dark as it was, he couldn't tell how she looked. So he consummated the union. And in the morning, he realized it wasn't Rachel. Oh, he was hot, baby. How dare you? And okay, and let's see what he said. Laban deceived Jacob by submitting Leah for Rachel, as it was customary to marry off the older daughter first. We already said that ain't what I signed up for. You should have told me. We could have maybe worked something out or something. Anyway, Jacob, unaware of the switch, consummated the marriage with Leah. See, told you. The next morning, realizing the deception, Jacob confronted Laban, Leah's daddy, like, man, anyway, who justified his actions by citing local customs. Laban then offered Rachel to Jacob in exchange for another 7 years of service. Excuse me? Okay, wait. Hold on. Okay. So I worked 7 years for this girl. I thought I had her. I had somebody. And now you're going to tell me I can have her, but I got to work 7 more years? That is 14 years. A whole lot of people don't stay married 14 years, let alone work and wait on somebody for 14 years. But I mean, he had Leah, she was his wife also. So after because after they made the agreement, the exchange for the 7 years, Jacob in exchange for another 7 years of service. Okay, so then a week after they made this agreement, then Jacob married Rachel. So because he also married Leah. So I guess he said, he went ahead and said, let me go ahead and marry her now, let her be my wife, and we'll just stay here with your father-in-law, and I'll work another 7 years free of charge, and then I'll take both my women and skedaddle, I guess. Okay, so that's what happened in the back in the day. Okay, now let's get down to this part, because I don't know if you know, and it is going to be in one of the next videos, but Jacob, what later became Israel, and when you hear the 12 tribes of Israel, it's actually Jacob's 12 sons. But Jacob became Israel. God renamed him Israel when they tussled one night. But that's a different story also, and we'll get to that as well. And so they he worked, and they lived and had their life for the next 7 years there at daddy-in-law's house. Now, he actually um worked. Okay, Jacob married Rachel a week later, committing to work an additional 7 years. So yeah, they got married, and he went ahead and said, okay, we'll stay here, and don't let me have a woman now, okay? So despite his love for Rachel, Jacob's marriage to Leah resulted in a complex family dynamic. You think? Okay. Leah, Leah, the other wife, bore Jacob 6 sons. Okay. I said I was going to tell you something about Leah later. Okay, Leah had what some might call a lazy eye, and they called it a tender eye, and it kind of made her not so attractive, probably. And they feel, and Rachel was beautiful. I mean, Jacob was just smitten with her, but not so much with Leah. But since daddy gave Leah to him, Leah got to make the best of a bad situation. So as I said, Jacob's marriage to Leah resulted in a complex family dynamic. Leah bore Jacob 6 sons. 6 of these boys: Reuben, Simeon, Levi, Judah, Issachar, and Zebulun. And she also had a daughter named Dinah. Okay, that's 6 of the 12 tribes of Jacob. That's 6 of the sons, and then there'll be 6 more. Because even though these were the Bible days, the same stuff that's going on now was going on then. Because listen to this, and a daughter. Okay, Rachel, initially barren. See, Leah had 6, 7 children, and Rachel hadn't had one because she was barren. She couldn't have any. And that's hard on a woman, especially your competition over here, just baby after baby after baby. She starts stepping in everything, just baby after baby, and you can't have one. Because, back in those days, your wealth was in how many sons, really, how many children, but how many sons you had. And baby Leah, Miss Tender Eye. Okay, Miss Leah, the older sister, was having just son after son after son. A man's got to be proud. Your woman can have all these boys. I mean, your name don't go on forever and ever and ever. But now this is what I was talking about is going on now. So Rachel, initially barren, envied Leah's fertility and gave her maidservant Bilhah, I guess Bilhah, to Jacob. Okay, so she said, well, since I can't give you any children, my maid can, I'm sure. So here, you take her, go on in there, and let's see what's going on. Because if you have them by her, they're still mine, because she's mine, my maid servant. So let me do this. So I mean, if a wife give her husband a woman, and I get, well, I mean, you basically, I'm sure women were running back then too. Baby, go on and do that. So what he gonna do? Go on and do it. So anyway, and to Jacob, who fathered Dan and Naphtali. Now, so with her maidservant, he had two more. So that's 8 sons. And now, get this, Leah in turn gave her maidservant Zilpah to Jacob, resulting in Gad and Asher. So she had, okay, so, oh, your maid can have babies by him? Well, my maid can too. So that's 10 more children. Okay, 10 of his sons, which we'll get to the 12 tribes of Israel. Okay, so eventually, now get this, eventually God opened Rachel's womb and she bore Joseph and later Benjamin. She finally got to have her. She had the last two to make it the 12 tribes of Israel. Now, her birth, the birth of Benjamin, her second was, she died in childbirth. That's a different story for a different time, also. So, those are, and then after 20 years of being away, Jacob decided to return to Canaan with his family and, all his people. So, we're going to talk about all of that in one of the next videos. I just wanted to get that much. I didn't want to be before you too long, but if you want to go back and read that and maybe listen to this again if you so choose, but please subscribe and like the video. I would so definitely appreciate that. I'm starting over. I'll be 60 in July of 2025 this year. And so I'm trying to go on a different path. So I'm going to do this YouTube channel, and I'd like for you all to join me if you enjoy hearing stories about the Bible, because we need to hide it in our hearts. We need to know what went on. If we're true believers and someone can lead you through the scripture and explain to you what's going on, then, and do it where it's kind of fun, because, honey, I'm not the most serious person in the world, because I have to put my, not adding anything to it, because it says you don't add anything to the word or take anything away from it, and that's not what I'm doing. But I'm just, elaborating and making it more, but I'm not adding or taking away from it. Anyway, I'm not going to hold you. Thank you for stopping by, and I would really appreciate it if you watched more videos on the channel. Okay, thank you. God bless you. Bye-bye.